Okay, everybody, and welcome back. And this is part two of this is my very first orchid list that I wrote. And I was thinking harder about this last night. I was writing this in Milano, Italy, at the Hotel Spadari, and I know the story. I was thinking more about it behind the list. Why I was writing the list was that I knew that the greenhouse was being built while I was there. And so I was planning on ordering these orchids, and I actually tried to order them in Italy. But because it was showing an Italian, whatever, URL, not URL, but IP address, the Wi Fi or whatever that I was using, it wouldn't let me do it. So instead of ordering the plants, hoping that they would be there when I got back, I just wrote the list down from the website of the things that I wanted. And so with the prices and everything. So I'm just going to continue on down without dwelling. If you missed the first part, you can catch it. And I know that I'm showing the whole list, but I don't care. So I left off at Fayez Tankerville yesterday. So I'm going to continue down with Mastrovillia Turkheimii, which is a synonym of Floribunda. So I did have a Floribunda. I got it at Andy's Orchids, and it lasted a while. It was mounted, and I'm just going to go ahead and talk about what Floribunda might actually be in the book, but I have it printed out here, so I'll just talk about it. You can see Floribunda. I had the maroon variety. Just so you know, there are two different color forms of Floribunda, and I will show you the color that I had. Anyway, it is a miniature, temperature tolerant, which was why I got it. Likes moderate light to shade. Flowers from June to September. Potted or mounted. Masdevallia. This Masdevallia comes from Belize, epiphytic, Costa Rica, Caribbean. Low elevations in damp forests. And as I said, this plant that I had lasted a few years. Bloomed for me. The blooms did get less and less in numbers. And then when I repotted it, that was pretty much the end of the plant for me. But I did enjoy it, but I realized that I was not able to maintain the proper moisture, and most likely it was due to the humidity, as I've been saying throughout this whole thing. Back then, I didn't have the number of humidifiers that I currently have, so my humidity was not above 50%, if you can imagine that, in my greenhouse during that time. So a lot of these plants prefer high humidity, and so they just did not work. Okay, so the next one on my list is Phalaenopsis cornicervi, and you know that I love cornicervi. I've had several of them, and I am obsessed with cornicervi. So I'm just going to flip to cornicervi and show you, in lieu of going out in the greenhouse and showing you all of my cornicervis, which I could do. Anyway, Phalaenopsis cornicervi. Another reason why I like this book is it gives so much information. It tells you who discovered the plant and who named the plant in little print there. The other book that I have, it even tells you, it sounds out the correct pronunciation, which is another topic of discussion, but that's another story. Anyhow, cornicervi, Phalaenopsis, it's miniature, lithophytic, mostly epiphytic, from Borneo, India, Java, humid forests, bright light. Anyway, yeah, mine did have a fragrance. There are different color forms of cornicervi, and I like them all. Anyway, that's cornicervi. I will put some pictures of some of my plants with the photos. Okay, then the next one is Brassavola grandiflora. Now, I love all Brassavolas, and grandiflora, which I have right up here on my laptop, is probably just a variety of nodosa. There is a picture of the flower. Of course, this is Orchid Species website. This says it likes half sun, but I think these like a little more sun than it is indicated here. Found in Belize, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, etc. Ecuador, small size, hot to warm growing epiphyte, sometimes lithophytic. I do have one that I just got from Andes. So we will see. I did have a grandiflora, but I lost that grandiflora in the big heat up last winter that you all remember me talking about so much and going through last winter. Okay, the next one on the list is Boba phylum Medusa. We all know that plant. That's on most people's lists that enjoy the unusual and all that the orchid world brings to us and offers us. Boba phylum Medusa, of course, looks and resembles the Medusa mythological character from Greek and Roman mythology. Medusa, of course, epiphytic and lithophytic, grows on limestone rocks in those areas, islands of Sumatra, Borneo, Philippines. Well-spaced pseudobulbs, which is kind of important. Single leaf. And of course, mop head of many flowers, and it flowers during the autumn and the winter. So it would be flowering right now. There is a picture of it. I've never got one of these to bloom. I've got one now. I might have actually two. No, I have one. But I've never been successful with this. So this is a plant that I will always have. I will never, if I'm without it in my collection, I will be looking for it. But I am trying to master this so I can get those blooms. I want one like William Green. We all know his legendary Medusa. Anyway, the next plant on my list, Cattleya Eracolor. Now, I don't know why I suppose when I was first making this list, probably fragrance was a major consideration. But when I look back on the list, I never even sought out Eracolor. And so it really puzzled me when I saw it on the list why it was on there in the first place. But in getting information on Eracolor, the first thing that it says in this is that Dowiana is known as, and this is from Chadwick. So Dowiana has been known as the most fragrant Cattleya, but he is saying that Eracolor wins the grand prize in the fragrance realm of Cattleyas. So I'm assuming that that is why it was on my list. And now that I've rediscovered this plant, I am on an orchid hunt for this plant. And I know they have it at Equigenera, but I'm just, cautious. So I'm on the hunt. But, okay, Eracolor has, let me find some information for you. The culture says it's easy to grow, adjusts well to normal greenhouse conditions of 58 to 60 degrees at night, 85 during the day. So it's a warm grower, likes free flowering plant, never fails to produce 6 flowers on a spike, which is really good. Naturally grows, it's native to Ecuador and Peru. Says it grows in high altitude, so that's a concern. But it says it can grow in 58 to 60, although that might be a little bit hard to maintain in the summer. Anyway, it's worth considering. We will see. And it kind of just talks about the fragrance again. But anyway, I will put a picture up of the plant, a better one than this black and white photo that really doesn't do much good to it. But I am really interested in that plant now. in the fragrance. And since it was on my initial list, how can I not? Okay, the next one on my list is Angraecum sesquipedale. And again, you know that I am an angraecoid head. Angraecum sesquipedale, the Darwin's orchid, comet orchid, Madagascar, low altitudes, found on the coast in trees, epiphytic, likes shade but does like good sun. Big plant, flowers in the late season through the winter. Often is known to flower around Christmas time. Very fragrant, long lasting. That's sesquipedale. And I will just keep moving on. Next one is Solagini pandarata. And Solagini pandarata is another one that I know that I first saw this plant flower. Well, I was already well aware of orchids, but I know that I was watching that Black Orchid movie, or was it Wild at Heart? No, it might have been Black Orchid with Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke and my girl from The Cosby Show. But anyway, Solagini pandarata, the infamous black orchid, because of the lip, the black markings on the lip, often confused with another one that it escapes me now, not Master Cianum, could be Master Cianum. But anyway, comes from Malay. You can read that epiphytically, terrestrial or terrestrial, low, moderate altitudes. Pseudobulbs are spaced well apart, very flattened, big, 2 long leaves. They flower like most Solagines from the new growths and are fragrant, long-lasting flowers, big, 4 to 5.5 inches. And that is Solagini pandarata. And I'm going to do one more and then I will stop. Epidendrum cinebarina. That's another one that I've always been fascinated by. It's a reed stem epidendrum, terrestrial, very beautiful color. You can see it was published by Lindley from, it's native to Bahia in Brazil. That's the description. That's not really a lot of information. There it says it grows naturally in Brazil from the Rio Grande. I'm not sure about the culture, but most reed-stemmed epidendrums do not like to dry out. It does say it doesn't like temperatures below 2 degrees here. Yeah, the inflorescence comes from the top of the newest pseudobulbs, forming clusters of that intensely red flower with the very intricate lip. There is no fragrance on cinebarinum. You would think there was, but there is not. So, anyway, folks, that is the end of part 2, and I will be back with part 3 very soon. Stay tuned for more. Enjoy your orchids as always, and thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.